life is water. Okay. Water is life, life is water. And within that, you would have this notion of how you would need to be, right? There is the part of life living itself as in water, not as in a metaphor, but to take on all the characteristics of it, characteristics of water. But it's also a stewardship reminder. And it's a reminder of who the steward is. So if you say these things, if you say, Ola ikawai, vaika ola, then you need to understand you cannot say that without being the steward of a place who holds the responsibility that without water, there is no life. And if that is the case, if without water, there is no life, then what is your responsibility towards that water? How you care for it, how you conserve it, what do you watch for? What is the unfolding story of the water itself? In Hawaii, where we get our drinking water is mostly from the aquifers that lie deep within the land itself. And it is a lens of water that sits within fungible rock. But fungible rock is its porous rock. And that water, fresh water, sits there in that porous rock. And beneath that lens of fresh water, there is the water of the ocean itself that has also permeated the fungible rock. And that salt water and fresh water are different densities. And because they're different densities, the fresh water sits on top of the salt water. But if you take too much of that water, then what will happen is that the salt water will invade the fresh water and they will come into a being together. It will become brackish. And that brackish water will kill life. It will kill life. And so to preserve that amount of lens of the fresh water required stewardship, it requires care. It took a long time for that water to become drinkable. From the time that the rain falls in the mountains, in places that I live in, which is very, very close to the mountain. The street that I am on is called Papali Place. Papali means the small cliff that is among the cliffs. And so it would be in a place like where I live, that water would fall almost all year long, almost all year long. And it's every drop of that water makes its way down. It makes its way down into the soil, and the water that is on the land, that stays on the land, makes its way down to the ocean. But if it has the fortune of coming into the land itself, it will take 27 years for that drop of water to make its way down to the place that we call the aquifer, that body of water that then becomes available for us to store and to cleanse and to drink. The water itself has a journey. It has traveled a long way to be in connection with us again as beings of the land. And we honor that. We pause for that. We understand our relationship to that, our very survival, dependent on whether or not a drop of rain that falls today make its way to be drunk by someone 27 years hence. The longest of journeys.